Yes, welcome back. Now, Nigeria population is placed at slightly above 200 million people, and of those 200 million people, about 60% are youths. Now, this huge, youthful population presents a huge opportunity, asset for social, political transformation within the democratic and the political space. The question we are asking, is this true about Nigeria? How much of Nigerian youths are involved in politicking or politics? Are they the true alternative to where we are today as a people, as a nation, in terms of the need for the right transformation? Yes, that's the question we are asking this fantastic day. So on the show right about now, the issue is the 2023 presidency, the youths as alternative. We have in our Abuja studio, we have Dumebi Kachuku, who is the ADC presidential aspirant. So good to have you join us on the show, Mr. Kachuku.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me on your show.
Fantastic. Youths as alternative. I don't know if you actually does share this perspective. We've heard things like the youths are the future of the nation, but then we still find the Nigerian youth grappling for position. We find a large part of the Nigerian youth still struggling to find their feet. They are faced with huge unemployment. They are faced with huge unemployability and all of that. And then when we begin to talk about politics, you begin to ask how empowered, how capable are the Nigerian youths to be that alternative that we are looking for the future? Maybe.
Okay, thank you, David. You do realize that our parents took over the mantle of leadership as youths. Independence, our leaders then, they were youths when they took over leadership. They assumed leadership. They've stayed on in that position decades after, refusing to relinquish power to their children. Now, what you will see is that the world has left them behind. There's a generational shift. There's a new language, there's a new understanding of global affairs, of economics, of foreign affairs, of technology, education. The old people at this point can no longer relate with what's happening today, but they hold on to power for the sake of power and don't know what to do with the new narrative, with the issues of today. They have no understanding. And that's why you find a nation like Nigeria, you find that we are regressing instead of progressing. Are the youths ready? Yes, the youths are ready. You can see how resilient Nigerian youths are. They keep on pounding them, beating them, pushing them down, but they still keep on striving, trying to rise up. You don't give them jobs, they are trying to make a living in the informal sector. In the informal sector where they are operating, they are still killing them there. They still keep on coming up with wrong-headed policies. These people are still metamorphosing. Whatever you throw at them, they are dynamic, they are metamorphosing. You can imagine if you let these people have a chance at leadership. But what has happened? Successive governments over the decades have abused Nigerians, have abused these youths. Unemployment of over 40 million people. You can imagine the life these people live on a daily basis. You can imagine waking up and having nowhere to go to, no job to go to, living on people, having to beg people for 1 meal a day or 1 meal in 2 days, having no hope, a life without hope. That's the life we subjected these people to because we have a geriatric, clueless leadership in our country. But the youths are ready in every sphere. Look at what's happening in fintech. Look at what's happening in Nollywood. Look at what's happening wherever anything is succeeding in Nigeria. Is the youths that are doing it. All our success stories are based on Nigerian youths. Give the Nigerian youths the opportunities we have given to the Dangotes or anybody who you say is affluent or rich or a billionaire. Give Nigerian youths a tenth of that opportunity and see what they will do. They are resilient, they are smart. Our youths are smart. Our government is just sadly a government that lacks knowledge, that lacks capacity, that lacks vision. The youths are the only asset we have. We keep on thinking our asset because we have a government that wants to corner resources like oil, coal, mineral resources, all those things. That's what they think about. That they think that's the asset they have. They neglect that. They forget that the only asset we really have in Nigeria is our population, our dynamic youths. Our youths have the capability to run government and run government much better than what we are seeing today.
Well said, Dumebi. The youth as an alternative is the focus of what we're looking at today. Should age really be considered in this matter? I mean, because Nigerians are saying it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you can, you have the expertise, you have what it takes to help move Nigeria to where it should be from where it is today. We want you. So should age be considered as regards the 2023 election and subsequent ones?
So let me say this. In developed climes, age will not really be a factor because you have a president. Take Biden, for example. Biden is elected president. Biden will be elected president and he'll bring geriatrics like him into governance. He'll bring the very best brains, right? But in places like Nigeria, what happens? You elect a geriatric like Buhari, and Buhari brings his family and friends, all the same age, all clueless, all disconnected from the reality of today. Age is a factor in a climate like Nigeria. The people who rule us have no clue what to do with present day realities. And that's why Nigeria keeps on going from bad to worse, and it keeps on getting worse every day. You look at issues of security in Nigeria today, for example. You talk to a youth, he will have the understanding of dynamism of modern day technology to solve simple things like even reconnaissance or surveillance, right? Because there are people who don't have to leave the comfort of their room to learn, to have knowledge. Google is your friend. But say that to the 65-year-old PAMSEC or the 70-year-old minister. He has no clue. He cannot appreciate, he cannot grasp that knowledge that the youth between 7-year-old, 35-year-old can grasp. Do you understand? So age is a factor in crimes like Africa, Nigeria to be specific, because these people, when they come in there, who do they look to? Who they know, their friends and their family, and all within the same age group. That's why if you look at the composition of governments today, all geriatrics, all above 60s or 70s, right? And all with the composition of present day realities.
All right, Dumebi, let's stay with the conversation around. For me, I'm a lot more concerned about the readiness of the Nigerian youths. If you look very closely, in as much as you did say that the older generation has refused to relinquish powers, relinquish all that they're holding on to. The youth, to a large extent, some of the youth to a large extent have allowed themselves to be used by these older ones to perpetrate all the sit-tight syndrome that they have. Elections come, it is still the youth that will be used as election thugs. Elections, the Nigerian youth are the ones that are often being used to perpetrate all of these thuggery and all of that around elections. So the only time I'd seen the Nigerian youths come together in one voice was the NSAS protest, which we saw Nigerian youth speak in one voice. But after then, everybody has seemed to have gone in a million other ways. In this whole clamor for the youths as an alternative, how do you think we can begin to galvanize, put some structure? 60% of the population are from the youthful generation. If we can maximize that, it is a strength in itself. How do we begin to, galvanize youthful participation and having them come together as a force in going forward? I just think we lost signal there, but I hope you're still. Oh, fantastic, you're there. So speak to us.
Okay, David, if you have been subjected to abuse, right? you will probably react the way the youths are reacting. When they are being used as thugs, they are being used as thugs because they need to feed, they need to survive, right? Survival can be positive, it can be negative. It just depends on your elasticity limits. So someone who has not seen any money for months, right? And you say to him, jump into the house, go break this window, go do this, go do that. That window, that house is the only thing between him and food and livelihood. You think he will not do it? Of course he will do it. They are victims of abuse. We have been abused for decades. Tell you something, I always say this story. 1973, Stockholm. 2 or 3 robbers took hostages in a bank, right? And by the time they were released by the police, the captives, they refused to cooperate with the police to testify against their captors. It was termed the Stockholm Syndrome, the psychological reaction of a captive to his captor. Stockholm Syndrome existed in Nigeria before. I call it Nigerian Syndrome. What you see in our youth and their relationship with their captors is the Nigerian Syndrome. They have been abused. And that's why these people use them for thuggery, for all sorts of rubbish, because it's abuse. That's all it is. Are the youths ready? Give them opportunity, retool them, reform them, and they are ready to take on the mantle of leadership. That's all. These guys are suffering. Retool them, reform them, and give them the mantle of leadership. Any Nigerian youth that can do Yahoo, do you know what it is? Yahoo is you strategizing to take someone's means, a person's resources off the person. You are thinking to do that. It means you're not daft. It means you're smart. If you can do Yahoo, you can do digital commerce. You can trade on the internet, right? Why don't we retool them in that direction? These people believe that their fathers are just raping and plundering Nigeria. What are they doing? This is their own version. It's what they are learning from their parents. We need to retool these youths. We can't say that, oh, the youths don't have what it takes because they are being used as thugs. They are being used as thugs because they need to survive. You can't tell me that a youth who has a job, say in a bank, or who has something he's doing 9 to 5 every day, that someone will find to use as a thug. Absolutely not. We keep them impoverished. We keep them unemployed so we can use them every election cycle. And when the election cycle comes, you think someone who's not eating 3 square meals for days, for months, that he will not make himself available? Absolutely not. He'll make himself available to be used. You can't blame them. It's a vicious circle. Nigeria, everything about Nigeria, our foundation is so faulty. We're in this vicious circle. You don't pay people properly, you don't pay the police, you don't pay the teachers, you don't pay anybody well. And so you put the default status of corruption in everyone. That's the problem of Nigeria. But specific to our youths, you keep them unemployed. Whatever job, whatever they see to do, they will do. But give them the right opportunity, point them in the right direction, tool them properly, and these guys, they are ready to take on the mantle of leadership. You mentioned NSAS. Let me ask you a question. They organize themselves properly for NSAS, right? You saw people rally, go out there, clean up after themselves, sing, make merry, but they were stating their case. What did government do? Government killed them. Government shot at these people. Year after, what has happened? After all the panels, after all the reports, what has happened? Has anyone been brought to book for all those killings? Government denied it. What have we as Nigerians said to our kids who were killed? What have we said to the parents of those who lost their children? Abuse. Pile on abuse after abuse. You know, the funniest thing is this, right? Judgment shall soon come. NSAS is child's play compared to what will happen if we don't do something about our teeming unemployment, our teeming youths who are unemployed. Something is going to give very, very soon. Something will give very soon. Drive around you. Sometimes we become so desensitized, we don't even see what's going on around us. As you leave your house every day, look to your left, look to your right, you see people staring aimlessly, walking aimlessly. They have nowhere to go to. They are looking or have to feed that day. People don't notice the suffering around them anymore. Nobody seems to care. Something will give someday. Should we give these people the mantle of leadership? Absolutely, yes, we should. Should we create opportunities for our youths? Absolutely, yes, we should. The people who lead us today are absolutely clueless. They don't know what to do with the youths. Tell you what, right? So talk about unemployment today, and you have a minister who comes and say they should go to the farms, right? Go to the farms to do what? Are the farms available for them to go to? There's insecurity. Their mothers and sisters are being raped. Their fathers are being killed in the farms. Do what in the farms? Is farming still a fad around the world today? No, it's not. We're talking about agribusiness. Have we created the enabling environment for agribusiness? We keep on doing old-fashioned farming. We're not doing any form of processing. A government that just keeps on being clueless about all these things will not create any employment. What does it take for us to create agri parks in every senatorial district around Nigeria and create employment? The job of government is to create employment. If you create employment, you can then claw back your profits from people by taxes. Imagine if you had 10 million Nigerians who were earning 200,000 naira and you were collecting 10,000 naira from these people every month as taxes. That's the smart thing to do. Create jobs for these people so you can tax them. That's what government does all over the world. But you cannot look at taking something from these people. You keep on killing them with taxes, and you're not giving these people any form of employment, any jobs, any means of livelihood. The job of government is to create that enabling environment. Government cannot be the only employer of labor, but government should create the enabling environment so that I can employ labor, so that you can employ labor. But what's happening? Well, at Silverbed today, what are you guys paying for diesel? Very soon, most TV stations will have to cut down their hours. The cost of diesel is astronomical. We can't afford it. It makes no sense. How does this diesel price affect other businesses? Go to hotels now. They're cutting hours. They're increasing rates. They are finding people fighting with their estate managers over light and all these issues. Has government said anything? Absolutely not. Can they say anything? No, they can't say anything. They have no answers to all these things. Look at the Kaduna train bombing. Are you aware that since that incident happened over 10 days ago, that our president has not said anything about that? A train bombing, several killed, over 100 still in the kidnapping has been said. What does that say to you?
All right, thank you for that. Although at some point in our discussion today, I'd like to hear specific, solutions that you have for some of these, challenges that you've mentioned. I know you've mentioned about two of them: the farming issue and the job issue. But the other ones that you did mention, I'd like to hear them. But let's still focus on the youth, as an alternative. The United Nations puts the youth age between 18 and 25 or 29. The African Youth Charter, which Nigeria, adopted, it says 15 and between ages of 15 and 35. Well, let's say because of the Nigerian factor, let's just add 10 years to it and make it 45. Let's calculate how much the time the child is going to spend in school, given the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian factor. This is not France, this is not Germany, this is not the UK. The child finishes school at 21, he's out of secondary school, serves for 1 year and begins, his career. If ASU does not add 2 or 3 years to his education, duration of education. At that age 45, which we added, that person would be probably mid-level career and trying to start his family. With the whole hustle and bustle around, do you think the person will be thinking of, oh, let me, try to go to politics and see if I can change the nation? I'm pretty sure a lot of them will be thinking, you know what, let me save my life first, then any other thing can happen later.
I like the way you're looking at it, but let me say this, right? It's a situation where you are between the devil and the deep blue sea. any which way you are damned, what do you do? It's no longer about your age, it's about your reality. What do you do? What do you do when you are faced with a set of circumstances that leads to only one conclusion? What do you do? Today, our reality in Nigeria is that we are on this train ride led by a man above 80 years old, taking us to an unknown destination, driving by careering aimlessly, and we know that very soon we'll fall off a cliff. What do you do? Won't you try and struggle for control of that train, or jump off like those people who leave us and leave Nigeria? The smart thing to do is say to yourself, you know what? If I stay on 5 minutes longer, tell me that this train is going to crash. Any which way, I might die. So you know what? Let me try and wrestle for control of this train so that I don't die or we don't die. You have no choice. You just have to do something about this. Because any which way, you are certainly damned if we continue like this. Are we going to wake up and say, oh, you know what, 2023 is around the corner? Well, let's wait for the usual suspects. We see Tinubu, we see Osibanjo, we see Atiku, we see all these people. And well, whatever they present us, the two leading parties, whatever they present us, let's take it. Is our fate, is our lot. Let's be sorry for ourselves. That's Nigeria for you. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is a symptom of abuse. Abuse makes you feel sorry for yourself. Don't feel sorry for yourself. I am running because I can't stay and feel sorry for myself forever. I need to do something about this. And that's why I'm encouraging everybody, everyone, do something about this. You can run. The party on which platform I'm running, ADC, just yesterday announced that for every youth, for every woman, and for every disabled person, forms are free. Nomination forms are free. Run. Bring your ideas, bring your smarts, bring what you have to offer. Come and run this race. Any race whatsoever, come and run this race. Tell you what, it's easier said than done. You tell them to come and run this race. We keep on talking about gender bill and all what have you. And the party has said, come and run free forms. Will people respond? Very difficult. Why? It's not because they don't want to. Is the abuse that they've been subjected to. It makes it difficult for them to take any positive action towards helping themselves or their families. It's abuse. It's not that people don't want to do something. I speak to a lot of people who say the reason why I can't say anything, look at what happened to people that they killed at NSAS, anything happened, we are scared. Any which way, should you stay in your house and let this foreign invaders wait till they come to your community and kill you, or you won't do something about it? Is that what I should do? Wait for them to come and kill my family before I rise up, before I speak? Absolutely not. You have to be proactive. You have to be positive. Take action. So, as youths, this generation, right? We speak to solutions. I'll tell you this, right?
Fantastic.
Look around the political firmament now.
Yes.
You won't find any of these people speaking to solutions about anything challenging in Nigeria. You won't find them. So in the area of security, you'll say, yes, we have security issues, blah, 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 no solutions. But I'll tell you solutions, what we can do.
Yes.
We need better intelligence.
Yes.
Sorry, you're saying something?
Yes, I was going to say something because we are quickly running out of time. We are heading towards the electionary permit process. We are on the verge to elect the new president. Here we have a large youthful population, and I think the ADC seems to be presenting an opportunity for Nigerian youth to converge. Tell us how you intend to mobilize the Nigerian youth, because for me it's a game of numbers, and the youth have the numbers. They might not have the finance, but they have the numbers. How do we begin to mobilize the Nigerian youth for the 2023 elections? Maybe.
Brilliant questions. It's very simple. The last 2 decades, what we have is we have an average of 10 million people voting in every election cycle for our president. 85% of those people are in the rural areas. The people in the urban areas, the digital generation, they don't vote. They have this apathy towards election and electioneering, right? We have over 40, 50 million people in that space who have never voted. Our job in the next 11 months is to get these people to get their PVCs and come out and vote. These people, their votes cannot be bought. They need to be convinced. They need a reasonable argument. They need for you to show them solutions, show them why they should vote, why they should trust you. Our job is to convince these people, make the case, make the argument to say, you know what, elections will come, nobody will harm you. You will vote, you vote securely. Come out and vote. That's the argument we are making. We don't have the resources to do the APC PDP style of campaigning and buying wrappers for women and bossing these people everywhere and giving them gari and giving them rice. We won't do that. But I'm coming to people like you. I'm saying to them, you know what? Our future is at stake next year. Next year on this hill, we make this stand. Beyond next year, it will not happen again. We are at the hill of never again. We are at the hill of it's over, it's done. We cannot go back to this style of governance. We need to go forward with a new thinking, a new charter for Nigerians. This is your time to make the change that you want. Come out and vote. I'm talking to people like you everywhere. You need to come out now, register to vote and vote. Don't believe that we should leave voting to the people in the rural areas. You know you don't need the rapper, you know you don't need the guy, but you know that your civic duty is for you to vote. That's the case we're making to the youth. Don't worry about the past. The past is the past. Let's leave these people. Let's build a new Nigeria that works for everybody, that is fair, that is equitable, that is a just country for all. That's the case we're making to people like you and I all over Nigeria. Come out, register, and vote. Which party should you vote for? Vote ADC, a party that has people who are credible, people who are going to offer comprehensive solutions for our modern day challenges. That's the case we're making to Nigerians.
Do maybe Kachiko, thank you so much for this conversation, focusing on the youth as an alternative come 2023. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
All right.
Oh, let's